Alhamdulillah wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam ma ba'd. The biggest enemy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the Shaitan, Iblis. The Shaitan will try to trick you in every aspect of your life. The Shaitan is haris. He is ever so active in trying to harm and deceive and misguide the believers. All of you ask for guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in all of your salats. When you say ihdina siratul mustaqim, you're making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, asking him, "Oh Allah, guide us to the straight path." The straight path is the path of Jannah. This is the path which the Shaitan does not want you to go. The Shaitan does not want you to traverse the straight path. The Shaitan wants you to go away from the straight path by doing sin, by doing bid'ah, innovation in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's religion, changing the religion of Allah, by throwing away the principles of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by being secular, meaning that you want to leave Islamic principles, and have a separation between Islamic practice, and your political life and your social life. This is what the Shaitan wants. But Allah doesn't want that. Allah wants guidance for us, and Allah has given us the straight path. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about the Shaitan in the Quran, قال تعالى في كتابه الكريم الشيطان يعيدكم الفقر ويأمركم بفحشاء. In Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about the Shaitan that the Shaitan, the devil, wants to assist you and push you into poverty and threaten you with poverty. And he commands you to do sin. What's relevant here is because a lot of times when people are poor, when they have difficulty, it's easier for them to do sin. It's easier when a person is poor, it's easier for them to give up, to lose hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But in fact, when you're poor, impoverished, you should rely more on Allah. Pray more and supplicate to Him and asking for Him to help you in your situation. But in fact, many times that's a time of weakness for us. When we're poor, when we don't have much, we become weak. So this is why some people, they do many sins when they're poor. Why? Because they gave up. They say, "Oh, Allah's not going to help me." They give up on Allah. That's haram. You cannot give up on Allah. You must always rely on Allah. But some people, they become weak. They don't have any money. They lost their job. They are having family problems. And they give up on Allah. So then they do more sin. They drink alcohol. They smoke marijuana. They do many other kind of sins. And women, they fall into other kind of sins often because of poverty. Poverty pushes them. And that's from the Shaitan. The Shaitan is whispering. They're being tested by Allah, and that is the opportunity for them to come closer, to stay away from the Shaitan. And as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala let us know, the Shaitan is our enemy. The Shaitan, the devil, is the worst enemy. And his role is to misguide you and mislead you. And he is the first one who had arrogance. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to the malaika, قال ربكم للملائكة إني قال سبحانه, in Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that Allah said to the angels, فَسَجِدُوا إِلَّا إِبْلِيسَ أَبَى وَاسْتَكْبَرَ وَكَانَ مِنَ الْكَافِرِينَ. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to the angels, prostrate or make sujood before Adam alayhi salatu wasalam. Not worshipping Adam alayhi salatu wasalam, but he was the first man from mankind, and he had an esteemed position. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave Adam alayhi salatu wasalam this esteemed position, and he wanted his creation, his angels, to make sujood before Adam. فَاسْجُدُوا لِآدَمَ فَسَجُدُوا إِلَّا إِبْلِيسَ أَبَى وَاسْتَكْبَرَ وَكَانَ مِنَ الْكَافِرِينَ. So the angels, they made sujood to Adam alayhi salatu wasalam. But Iblis did not. Iblis, the Shaitan, is not an angel. He was not an angel. But Allah mentioned him along with the angels. He was a jinn. But with that, the Shaitan refused to prostrate to Adam alayhi salatu wasalam because of arrogance. He thought he was better than Adam alayhi salatu wasalam. He thought he was a better creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than Adam alayhi salatu wasalam, and Allah ordered him to do it, but he refused. Aba wastakbara. He refused and he was arrogant. These are the characteristics of the Shaitan. So we know that the Shaitan has many ways of trying to trick us. And he has many different ways in which he tries to get in our hearts. مداخل الشيطان إلى القلب. The Shaitan has many different ways of trying to get into our heart. And from some of the ways in which the Shaitan أعوذ بالله منه tries to get to our hearts, one of the ways is through qadr, through anger. And another way is through shahwa. So the first way is through anger and shahwa, meaning that the Shaitan uses, when you become angry, Rashad, the Shaitan wants to use that as a way for you to be disobedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if you become very angry, maybe you're going to do something haram. If you become very angry, you're going to start a fight. If you become very, very angry and you lose control of yourself, you're going to be disobedient to your parents. If you become very, very angry and you listen to the Shaitan, you're going to curse your parents. You're going to curse them. وَعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنْ ذَلِكَ. This is how the Shaitan enters. He enters the heart through your anger. That's why the Prophet ﷺ warned us in an authentic hadith, لَا تَغْضَبْ. And he said it 3 times. He said, don't be angry. And he said that the person, the believer who's strong, is the one who can control his anger. Alayhi salatu wasalam. That's beautiful advice. That shows us number one, that the Shaitan uses anger to get to your heart and make you do disobedience to Allah. Number two, the ilaj for that, the Prophet ﷺ gave you the medicine. What is the medicine that he said? Alayhi salatu wasalam? He said, don't be angry. He said it how many times? 3 times. Jazakumullah khairan. The Prophet ﷺ said it 3 times. He was trying to warn you, hey, don't get angry. Control your anger. You're a human being. You're going to get upset. You're going to get mad sometimes. But control yourself. Whenever you get angry, maybe make wudu. The Prophet ﷺ said, make wudu. Alayhi salatu wasalam. And make rakatayn, pray. So make wudu, purify yourself, and pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help you control your anger, to help you restrain yourself, so that way you don't follow the Shaitan al-Rajim. Another way, along with that anger, is shahwa. A shahwa, in Arabic, this means like your desires. This means you following those things which Allah subhanahu, you're following your pleasures. Islam recognizes that human beings, we have pleasures. We like many things. We like good food. We like good drink. We like to gain some money so we can buy some nice things. We like nice clothes. We like to get married when we're old enough. We like to do many things. So those things are lawful for us. But when they are in our heart and we desire them, they can make us do haram sometimes. So some people, because they love money so much, sinner, that they steal. Their shahwa causes them to steal. That's again another way the Shaitan gets in your heart and directs you to do sin. As we mentioned in the ayah, what did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say in Surah Al-Baqarah? الشَّيْطَانُ يُعِيدُكُمُ الْفَقْرَ وَيَأْمُرُكُمْ بِالْفَحْشَاءِ. That the shaitan helps you. He pushes you into the poverty, and he commands you to do sin, to do haram. The shaitan loves that. He commands you. The shaitan loves when you're disobedient to Allah. That's his job, is to misguide you. So through our desires, when we want things extra, we want our desires, we follow our desires, that can lead us to follow the shaitan. Another way in which the shaitan enters into our hearts, aside from anger and aside from our desires, is also through hasad or hars. That the shaitan enters our hearts through hasad. Hasad means to be envious of someone else, something that they receive, maybe something good that they receive, and you want their goodness to be taken away from them and maybe given to you. So for example, if you see somebody, they have a nice iPod or a nice iPad touch, or they have a nice car, and you say, mashallah, you don't say mashallah, you say, I like that car. Oh, why do they have that car? I want that car. Why does she have an iPod? I want the iPod. Why does he have the iPad? I want the iPad. I want his iPad to break. I want his iPad to get lost. I want to steal his iPad. That's from the shaitan. That's the sabila shaitan. That's how the shaitan encourages you to follow the haram. He wants you to follow him and go away from the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He wants you to want somebody else's ni'mah, somebody else's blessing to be taken away from them. Even if it's not given to you. Some people, their hasad is so strong, they don't even want it, but they just want to make sure you don't have it. That is hasad, that is evil envy, that is very strong. And that's something we have to be careful of. The shaitan uses that. So whenever you feel your heart getting jealous of someone because of something they have, say, A'udhu billah. A'udhu billah min dhalik. Or A'udhu billah min ash-shaytan al-rajim. A'udhu billah min al-hasad. And make dua to Allah to remove that from your heart, because that can take you to the hellfire. And that takes you to the path of the shaitan, not to the path of the believers. Another way in which the shaitan enters upon you is that through hirs. For example, the Prophet ﷺ gave us an example in Sunan Tirmidhi in a hadith about two, he gave an example, and the main point of the hadith is that a person will strive so much for things in this worldly life, and they'll forget the dunya. They'll forget the akhirah. They'll forget the hereafter. Because mankind, Bani Adam, they love wealth and they love to be famous. Everybody likes money. You like money, don't you? Yeah. It's okay to like some money, to use it for good. But to want all the money, to want excess money, just to waste it, just to do haram, no. That's not what we want. And we don't want to just strive only in this life for money. And we don't want to strive in this life only to be famous. We don't want people just to say your name and say, oh, Rashad is a big sheikh, Rashad is a big basketball player, Rashad is this, he's a big scientist. No. We don't need the fame. You want Allah to love you. And that's going against the shaitan. The shaitan realizes that we love money and we love fame, and that we'll do anything. We'll follow our desires and even do haram to get that stuff. That's why we have to seek refuge in Allah from the shaitan. And that's ibadah. Whenever you seek refuge in Allah, if you say, A'udhu billah min ash-shaytan rajim, that means you're seeking refuge in Allah from the accursed shaitan. And that is ibadah. That's an act of worship. Isti'ana, isti'adha, to seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to seek the help and support and assistance from who? From Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as we studied before, that is a way, that's a type of ibadah. Another way the shaitan gets to you is through always eating and drinking too much. The shaitan gets to you that way. That's why the Prophet ﷺ said, when you drink and eat, what means that you should leave a portion for air in your stomach. Don't eat until you just feel so fat you just want to fall over. A'udhu billah. That's some people, the people before us, those early nations. This is what they used to do in Greece and Rome. They used to eat so much because they had a lot of money. The wealthy people used to eat so much food. They'd bring more meat, more pork, more wine, more this. They had so much, they wanted to keep eating. So they used to throw up so they could eat more food. They wanted to make more room just to keep force feeding themselves. That is worse than the animals. The animals don't do that. When the lion is filled, she sits. She's had her kill and she's finished. She sits and she keeps it. Or some animals, they bury their food for later. But human beings, when they follow their desires and they go so far away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and they commit shirk and paganism, they want to fill their desires by any means. So it's not enough that they have all the wealth and all the food. They have to throw up and put more food in. So it shows they're just eating just to eat, not for hunger. وَعِيَاذٌ بِاللَّهِ مِنْ ذَلِكَ. That's a waste of food, and it is harmful to your body, and it is showing arrogance, because so many people don't have food. This is wastefulness, this is arrogance, and that is a way the shaitan comes to you. وَعِيَاذٌ بِاللَّهِ مِنْ ذَلِكَ. Another way in which the shaitan comes to you is by being cheap, al-bukhl, and through khawf al-faqr. The shaitan comes to you through being scared of being poor. When someone is scared of being poor, they might do the haram. So for example, some brothers and sisters, they get scared. They think, hey, I don't have enough money. I can't take care of my family. I can't do this. I got to do something haram. I got to rob a bank. I got to steal some money from the store. I got to break into someone's house and take something. I got to do this scandal and this scam to get more money. I got to take interest. They do all kind of haram things. Why? Because they're scared of being poor. But instead they should be scared of Allah and ask Him, Ar-Razzaq, to provide for them. So through poverty, the shaitan can come to you. And through also, maybe you get money and you're afraid to spend it. Maybe you have a whole bunch of money and you say, oh gosh, I can't buy that. I can't buy that one book. I can't buy that one thing because my money's going to be less. I need all of it. I need every bit of it. But this will destroy you. Allah mentions it all throughout the Quran and all throughout the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, that bukhl is a terrible characteristic. That the one who believes his mal will be sufficient for him. مَا أَغْنَى عَنْهُ مَالَهُ وَمَا كَسَبَ. No. The one who believes that their wealth is sufficient for them and that they won't be held accountable for their sins and their deeds. They just love wealth. They love it more. حُبٍّ جَمَّةً. They love to just to take their wealth and pile it up and not spend it ever. This is also a way the shaitan comes to you. وَعِيَاذٌ بِاللَّهِ مِنْ ذَلِكَ. Another way in which the shaitan comes to you is through ta'asub lil-madhahib wal-ahwa wa-hiqt ala-khusum. The shaitan also comes to you by the way of causing the Muslims to split into groups and sects, to where they believe that their group and their community is the only one guided. This was the case that the Jews believed that they were the only saved people, that they were the ones Allah's favored people. We don't want to follow that example. We know being a believer, so the Muslims, we love everyone. We love all the Muslims. But they have different levels. Your love is not the same. If someone is disobedient, they're a major sinner, you love them less. If someone is holds on to the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ and they have knowledge and they're doing the good things and they're worshiping Allah day and night, you love them more. Because you love them because their ibadah is stronger. They're coming closer to Allah. They're someone who's probably loved by Allah because they have knowledge and they practice that knowledge. But the one who doesn't, who's far away, you love them less, but you still love them because they're a believer in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They still worship Allah. And you do not want to make your love and your dislike based on your group. You don't want to call yourself, say, hey, we're the only good Muslims. We're the only right Muslims. We're the Muslims doing this. We're the only ones. Our group is this. Our group is Sufi. Our group is Shi'i. Our group is Ikhwan al-Muslimin. Our group is Jama'at al-Tabligh. Our group is Ashari. Our group is this. No. This is not what Allah called us to do. Our group is Khawarij. No. That's not what we're supposed to be. We're Muslim. We're Muslims. We're ordered to follow the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and to follow the way of his companions, radiyallahu ta'ala anhum, and they are the Salaf Salih. They are the pious predecessors. That's what we're ordered to do. That's what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said out in the Quran. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Alaykum bi sunnati wa sunnati al-khulafa ar-rashidin al-mahdiyyin." He said, it is upon you my sunnah and the sunnah of the rightly guided Khalifa, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, wa Ali, radiyallahu ta'ala anhum ajma'in. That is the sunnah. That's what we're supposed to follow. But we don't have to follow a sheikh who says, I'm Ashari. We believe in doing this with the sifat of Allah. I'm Sufi. I believe that turn off the lights and chant 1,000 times Allah, 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 and then you're going to come closer to Allah. No. That's not what the Prophet ﷺ ordered us to do. So we reject that. So we don't blind follow anyone or any madhab or any way except for the way of the Prophet ﷺ. That we follow. Ala itlaq. We don't make any exception. We follow that. We follow the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ without any resistance and without any going away from that. But we can't follow any new group or new sect or new ideology which goes against Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ in the way of his companions and the righteous predecessors after them, all the way up until now. There's always going to be the people following the right path in Islam. There's always going to be believers who follow the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. And how do we know this? Because the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, لا تزال طائفة من أمتي ظاهرين على الحق حتى يأتيهم أمر الله وهم على ذلك أو كما قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم said, there's always going to be a group from my nation who is rightly guided, that is on the truth until the day of judgment, and no one can harm them until the day of judgment. So while we're in this dunya, yes, we will get tested. We're going to have trials and tribulations, but Ahl Sunnah will always be there. They'll always be there to the end of time. So that's the path. Salah, is it okay? Should you call yourself a Sufi or a Tablighi? What about an Ashari? What about a Deobandi? How about a Naqshbandi? We can think of some other names. Unfortunately, the Muslims call themselves many names. Some of them are Aga Khanis. Some of them are Ismailis. Some of them are Ithna Asharis. Some of them are Khawarij. Some of them are, there's different types of Shia, just like we mentioned, Zaydis. There's all kind of names people call themselves. But that's not what Islam calls us. It calls us to be one. Allah wants us to be one hand, worshipping Him and Him alone, subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's the way the shaitan comes to you. Because the shaitan will make you think you're guided. You'll follow this new way, a new path, a new sect, a new minhaj, a new methodology. And it will lead you to the hellfire. As the Prophet ﷺ said, افترقت اليهود على 71 فرقة وافترقت النصارى على 72 فرقة وستفترق هذه الأمة على 73 فرقة كلها في النار الواحدة. The Prophet ﷺ said that the Jews would break into 71 sects and the Christians break into 72 sects. And my community, meaning the Ummah, the Muslims, will break into 73 sects. All of them in the hellfire except one. The Prophet ﷺ said all of them in the hellfire except one. That means the ones who broke into these groups. Only one is going to be saved. And then they said, who are they, ya Rasulullah? The Prophet ﷺ said, من كان على مثل ما كان عليه وصحابي. وكما قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. The Prophet ﷺ said in one narration that those people who are on my sunnah and the sunnah of my companions, alayhim afdal salatu wasalam. So that shows us to follow the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ is what we're ordered to. Not to have a particular group. I'm Hanafi, I'm Hanbali, I'm Maliki, I'm Shafi'i. Nah. That doesn't mean we reject those. All those were four great Imams. Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Malik bin Anas, Imam Shafi'i, Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, Rahimahullah, Rahimahumullah Jami'an. May Allah have mercy upon all of them. But the people after them began to blind follow them. Say, I'm Maliki, and that's it. Only follow Imam Malik, and even our women will not marry anyone except unless they're on our madhab. This is what some of the Muslims do. They say, oh, you're not Hanbali, you can't marry from us. Oh, you're not Hanafi, you can't marry from us. A'udhu billah. What religion is that? They've made a new religion. This is not from Allah's deen. That is because they love their madhab, they love their way, their tariqah, their path so much that they've left some of the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. They love it more than the sunnah is what they're operating. Because they're doing bid'ah, they're doing innovation in Allah's deen, something that they were not ordered to do. And the Prophet ﷺ didn't sanction them doing. Alayhi salatu wasalam. The Prophet ﷺ said, follow his sunnah. Whose sunnah do we follow, Rashad? The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Jazakallah khairan. So that's the way the shaitan comes to us. Is he divides us. He makes us into new groups and sects and new ideologies to divide us and be split and be weak, as the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam explained to us that would happen. Another way, and I'll talk about this as the last one, that the shaitan comes to us is through su'a dhann bil muslimin. That the shaitan comes to us by making us have a bad image of our brother Muslim and brother and sister Muslims. May Allah have mercy upon us all and guide us all. That the shaitan comes to you so that whenever you hear something about another Muslim, you think something bad instantly. Oh, so-and-so just did this. Oh, you think it's true immediately. You don't investigate. Like we see this always in the news. Some people, they try to say that the Muslims are blowing up stuff and the Muslims are terrorists and the Muslims are this. Don't believe that. It's garbage. It's garbage. We have to investigate and think and look. We try to find the truth. That doesn't mean there aren't bad Muslims who do bad things like that. Yeah, there are some. There are some Muslims that do evil stuff like that, that blow up stuff, will kill people and blow them up in the masjid, in the places of worship. Yeah, evil. But we don't just jump and believe what anybody says about your brother Muslim and brother sister, but we try to find the truth first. Because the shaitan uses that. If you hear something bad about someone, you're going to think it's going to be in your heart. Then when you see that person, you're going to think, oh yeah, I heard that person steals. I better put my iPod away. Oh, I heard that person steals. I better put my money, hide it. But it might not even be true. But then that's going to affect your heart. That's how the shaitan gets us. So you want to make sure that you check the truth. The Prophet ﷺ said, إِيَّاكُمْ وَالظَّنِّ فَإِنَّ الظَّنَّ أَكْذَبُ الْحَدِيثِ. The Prophet ﷺ said, beware of thinking negative or pessimism, of having a thought about someone that you don't have any proof for it, because you don't know if it's true or not. So don't think negative about someone, because it leads to the worst of speech. It's the worst of speech. When you think that someone's doing something, you think someone is an innovator, you think someone is doing sin, you think someone is doing this, and then you spread that to the other people, but you don't even know. Some people, they study, and then they accuse someone else of doing innovation. They say he's a hizbi, she's this, she's that, she's an innovator, and then you ask them, how do you know? What did they do? Oh, I don't know, I heard it from someone else. So that is dhunn, that's su'u dhunn, because they didn't make ta'keed. They didn't even try to ascertain or find out if that's true or not. They just jumped. They said, oh yeah, he's an innovator. Oh, she's a sinner. She's drinking alcohol at night. But you don't even know. A'udhu billah min dhalika. So we have to protect ourselves from that. How do we protect ourselves from that? We protect ourselves by worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, reading the Quran, reading a hadeeth of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and thinking positive about your Muslim brothers and sisters, loving your fellow Muslim brothers and sisters, doing good deeds to help you stay away from sin and to help you stay away from the Shaitan al-Rajim. Those are the things, because the heart is something you have to protect. So strive to protect your heart. Protect your heart with the Quran. Protect your heart with the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Protect your heart by doing good deeds. Amal salih, by doing righteous deeds. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. Do those things. Be like the people who believe in Allah, and they do righteous deeds, and they call to the truth, and then they're patient upon that. Be like those people. Those people protect their heart. Not like the people who have suspicion, not like the people who spy on people, not the people who lie about people, not like the people who curse people, not like the people who are envious of people, not the people who want other people's blessings to be taken away. Don't be like them. A'udhu billah min dhalika. And I ask Allah the Almighty to accept our good and forgive our evil, and bless us with khair, and bless us with ilm nafi, rizqan tayyib, wa amalan mutaqabbalan. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam.